In this video, I am going to explain you one-way ANOVA step by step. First, how to perform one-way ANOVA in GraphPad Prism. Second, how to interpret the ANOVA result. And third, how to present it in graph form. By the end of this video, you will have complete practical knowledge of performing and interpreting and presenting one-way ANOVA test result. So let's start. One-way ANOVA test whether there are any statistically significant difference between the mean of three or more independent group. In our case, we are testing mean outcome of drug A, drug B and drug C, whether they are significantly different from our disease control. We need to use the column data table. You can check which data table you are using by putting cursor on this icon. So it is showing this is a table, this is a column table. Now we have group wise data in each separate column. Here we are going to analyze whether the mean of the drug A, drug B and drug C are significantly different or not from the disease control. So to do that, we have to click Analysis tab. So when you click the analysis button, it will open up the new window. Since we are doing the column analysis, under the column option we have to choose one-way ANOVA options, and on the right hand side we have to select the column dataset. Then we have to click OK. Now it will open up the new window where we have to select various parameters for the one-way ANOVA. Under the experimental design, I am going to select no matching or pairing, as each of our column are performed on the different set of patients. So there is no pairing. Now under the distribution assumption, we are assuming normal or the Gaussian distribution, as we are assuming our data is following normal distribution. If our data is not following normal distribution, then we have to choose other appropriate options. Under assume equal standard deviation, yes, we are assuming that our standard deviation for all the columns are equal. So that is one of the assumption for performing the parametric ANOVA test. Now under the repeated measure, no selection option will be shown by the GraphPad Prism, because under the experimental design we have not selected repeated measure. As we can see, we have not selected the repeated measure. So here no option will be given. Under the tab of multiple comparison, we have to select how our follow-up test will be. If we are comparing the mean of each column with the mean of every other column, then we have to select this option. If we have to compare the mean of each column with the mean of control, then we have to choose this option. In our case, we are comparing all the drug treatment column with the disease control. Hence, we will select column A as our control. So here we have to specify which column is our control. So column A is disease control. So I am selecting this option. Now, ANOVA results will tell you that at least two group means differ if it really differs, but it will not tell you which one. To find which specific groups differ, you need to perform post hoc test. That is, that option is given under the multiple comparison test. So in this option, we have to choose the correct test. So by default, GraphPad Prism suggests the appropriate recommended test. So here it is showing the Dunnett's test. So I will choose the Dunnett's test, and all other option I will keep as it is. Then we have to click OK. This will give you two result sheets. One is the ANOVA result and the other is the multiple comparison result. That multiple comparison result is nothing but the Dunnett's test result or the post hoc test. So now we need to understand each sheet one by one and how to interpret that. Let's first understand the ANOVA result sheet. So under ANOVA result sheet, you will see the various sections. So the very first you have to observe the ANOVA summary table. This one. Look for the F value. This tells you how much variation there is between the groups compared to the within the groups. Then check the P value. This tells you whether the difference in group means are statistically significant or not. If the P value is less than 0.005, then there is a statistically significance. So here it will specify significance difference among means at P value less than 0.05. It is showing yes. In our case, the F value is 19.01 and the P value is 0.0001, which means the difference between the group mean are statistically significant. The other thing you have to observe is the R square value. It tells you how much of the variation in your data is explained by the group differences. In our case, the R square value is 0.6130, means that 61.3% of the total variation in the data is attributable to differences between the treatment group rather than variability within the group themselves. The higher the R square, the stronger the effect. The third thing you have to check is whether your data meets the assumption of ANOVA that all groups have similar variance. GraphPad Prism gives you two tests. One is Brown-Forsyth's test, second is Bartlett's test. Now in this you have to see, are standard deviation significantly different? Here the result is no. In Bartlett's test, are standard deviation significantly different? The result is no. So our results of ANOVA are valid. Okay. The fourth thing you have to look at is the ANOVA table, which breaks down the sources of variance. Treatment, that is between columns, and within columns. Between group shows how much variation is due to group differences, while within group shows natural variance within each groups. And the total, that is the sum of both variation between column and within column. The key value here you have to observe is the F value. So F value is the ratio of mean square between group, mean square between columns, and mean square within groups. So it is the ratio of mean square of treatment to the mean square of residue. So the larger the F, the more likely it is that your group are different. So there is a difference between the columns. Now this result sheet does not tell you where the difference it is. It doesn't tell you that the difference is between control to drug A or the control to drug B or the control to drug C. Now to understand that result, we have to go to the multiple comparison sheet where we have done, where the GraphPad Prism has done the post-hoc test. So multiple comparison result specifically compare one group to other group. In our case, each treatment to the control group, as we can see under the label of the Dunnett's multiple test, disease control versus drug A, disease control versus drug B, disease control versus drug C. Now, if we are comparing these two sheets, in the case of ANOVA results, we can say that ANOVA found a significant difference somewhere among the groups by its F value and the P value. But the multiple comparison test here, Dunnett's comparison test, tells us which treatment are significantly different from the control. So here drug B is significantly different from the control, while drug C is also significantly different from the control, while drug A is not significantly different from the control. So the glucose lowering capacity of drug B and drug C is significantly different from the control, while there is no difference between disease control and the drug A. So now this is the interpretation of the ANOVA results. Now let's go toward our third objective of this tutorial, that is the graphical representation of this ANOVA result. So for that we have to select our data table, then we have to go into the insert tab. There we have to select new graph of existing data. There we have to choose this one, column bar graph, then mean with standard deviation or mean with standard error of mean, whatever you can choose based on your representation. For this tutorial I am choosing mean with standard deviation. Then you have to click OK. This will give you the bar graph. The Y title you can put glucose level. X level we do not want, so we will remove that one. Now here the old bar graph with the standard deviation as the bar has been shown. Now let's put our ANOVA result. For that, on the graph you have to right click, then insert pairwise comparison. Right, this will show you our ANOVA result. Okay, so control to drug A, there is no significance, which we saw in our result, like multiple comparison. There is no significant difference between drug A and control, so not significant NS, while there is the significant difference between drug B and control with 3-star representation, so it is showing 3-star, and the drug C and disease control 4-star. So that you can see in our graphical representation. You can modify based on your requirement. You can edit this graph, you can change the color. So I hope this video would have helped you. If you like me to make videos on a specific topic, please comment me in the comment section. I will try to make it. If you like this video and you learned something, please like and subscribe the channel. Thank you.